What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. In Japan, Takaichi Sanae is the new leader of the Liberal Democratic Party after an election on Saturday, replacing Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru. Takaichi's win means she's expected to become Japan's first female prime minister later this month. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te, as chair of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, said he looked forward to deepening ties between the two countries under Takaichi's leadership. Taiwan does not have official ties with Japan, but the ruling parties have been holding cross-parliamentary dialogue. Taiwan's foreign ministry also expressed congratulations, emphasizing that Taiwan has had close relations with the LDP for years, calling the party a friend to Taiwan. A senior member of Taiwan's National Security Council has visited Washington for talks with think tanks and people close to the Trump administration. That's according to a report from Nikkei Asia. It said NSC Deputy Secretary General Vincent Zhao highlighted Taiwan's raise in defense spending and asymmetric defense strategy plans in line with U.S. suggestions. The report said Zhao also brought up rescheduling President Lai Ching-te's transit through New York en route to Latin America, something that was denied by the Trump administration earlier this year. Taiwan's presidential office responded by saying no visit is currently being planned. The White House did not confirm whether Zhao met with Trump officials. Zhao previously served as head of the political section of Taiwan's diplomatic mission in Washington. A senior U.S. senator has reportedly said he will introduce legislation for economic retaliation if China attacks Taiwan. Jim Risch, chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said the bill is intended to deter China from using force to take Taiwan. It will create a task force to pick out targets for economic measures the U.S. could take against China, which could include things like sanctions and export controls. The chief of staff of the Philippine military says evacuating Filipino citizens from Taiwan would be his priority in the event of a conflict in the Taiwan Strait.
You know, when it comes to protecting lives, we cooperate with as many nations as we can. You know, we're closest to Taiwan, and we can accommodate others. But these are contingency plans. As military, as an armed forces, we have to be prepared for anything, for any possible scenario.
Speaking at the Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines, Romeo Brano Jr. said U.S. joint military bases in Luzon could be used to help evacuate people. Analysts in Taiwan said this could give Taipei more time to respond in the crisis.
当美菲在进行撤侨的时候，或者是在维持这个海上的一个运输的时候，那这是不是又给台湾更多的一些机会去准备海上持续有船舰在进行一个运送的一个任务的话，那这样子是不是就刚好去打破了今天中共在进行封控或封锁的一个如意算盘？
The Philippine military chief has previously urged military planners to make contingency plans in case of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. A Taiwan-based media outlet says Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung made a previously undisclosed visit to the Netherlands in September. Domino Theory says the visit took place while Lin was on a trip to Europe, where he officially visited the Czech Republic, Italy, and Austria. But a statement published online by the Dutch government reveals that Lin was in the Netherlands from September 13th to 15th. It said the government would not interact with them due to its One China policy. Domino Theory has reported that Lin visited Giant Bicycles, a Taiwanese company, while in the Netherlands. Taiwan's foreign ministry has declined to comment on the trip. Nearly 2 years after the October 7th attacks, Hamas has signaled a willingness to release all remaining Israeli hostages in the partial acceptance of Donald Trump's ceasefire terms. Tiffany Wong has more.
So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out.
U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal for peace in the Israel-Hamas war sees a breakthrough. Hamas agrees to release all remaining Israeli hostages, about 20 of whom are believed to still be alive, one of the conditions of Trump's ceasefire plan, backed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In response, Trump ordered Israel to stop bombing Gaza as Hamas considered the rest of the terms of the peace deal. The 20-point plan calls for Hamas to disarm and for a transitional authority in Gaza. In an interview with Al Jazeera, a senior Hamas official spoke of their concerns.
We will never accept anyone not Palestinian, to control the Palestinian. But this does not belong to Hamas only. This belongs all of the Palestinian, and the Palestinian Authority and the PLO. They should say what their response about this. And we can't bring someone like Tony Blair to be governor in Gaza.
Marzouk referred to the former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, named in Trump's proposed Board of Peace to lead Gaza's post-war transition. Several world leaders praised the breakthrough, which was underscored by Trump's threat to support Israel's continued offensive if the deal were rejected. The UN called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire and unfettered humanitarian access to Gaza. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer emphasized negotiations for peace for both Israelis and Palestinians. Qatar and Egypt, who have also been involved in peace negotiations, also praised Trump's progress. But as uncertainty still lingers over the final deal, Israelis are hopeful that they could see peace soon.
It's a good deal. It's make everything. It's changed the whole game, and I hope they will actually do what they say, and hopefully they will release all the hostages back. And I don't know. I hope. I'm someone that wants peace for both sides, so I hope this will bring peace for Palestinians, for Israelis, and no more war, and the hostages back home.
The situation right now makes many people suffer, also in Gaza, and also the families here in Israel and the troops that are in Gaza all this time. I don't believe that they really will do it because it's the only card that they have left in this war. But I really hope that this war will end and we'll start living again.
Trump had given Hamas a Sunday deadline to accept the peace plan. But with negotiations about disarmament and post-war leadership still ongoing, it could be a while longer before Israelis and Palestinians see an end to the war. Eason Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
October 4th marks World Animal Day, a time to take action for animal rights and welfare. Here in Taiwan, volunteers are working to help animals affected by the devastating flash floods in Guangfu Township on the country's east coast. TaiwanPlus went there to see how they're providing support.
Encouraging and soothing these little furry fellows are not owners praising their pets, but volunteers offering comfort to survivors of last week's flash floods at an animal medical station in Hualien, eastern Taiwan. Guangfu Township was hit by severe flooding when a barrier lake in the mountains overflowed, killing at least 18 people, injuring more than 100, and displacing thousands. The victims of the disaster were not only humans, but also animals.
这一区是我们的动物医疗站，那是由我们花莲在地的一些宠物保姆协会还有宠物旅馆我们合作去发起的这一次宠物医疗。主要是我们认为说，这边的花莲光复它灾情蛮严重，加上光复村唯一的一个动物医院也已经被冲毁，那所以说我们联合了花莲市的兽医工会，然后我们到这边进行义诊。
我们目前到现在为止遇到的大概是以皮肤的外伤的状况比较多。 所以大概来到这边都做一些外伤的处理，包括清洁、消毒或者是缝合。
To support disaster response efforts for animals, volunteers have flocked to the area, working around the clock to provide medical care, grooming, food, and other essential services.
我们目前会分成照护组，就是照护一些收容安置的狗狗，然后还有物资整理组，这是我们最大的组，然后再就是我们的一些 动物救援组，像我们会深入到一些灾区里面救援出来，有时候我们也会搭配着兽医师跟着我们一起深入灾区里面去救援出来。
The animals rescued include pets, strays, and wild species. These efforts come at a time when awareness of animal protection is rising in Taiwan, along with a growing number of pets in recent years. After rescued animals have been treated, volunteers first check whether they have owners. For those found to be strays, the center steps in to help them find new homes, such as Ilio Ba. He was rescued by a first responder and later adopted by that very same rescuer. And he isn't the only lucky one. Take Lucy. She was adopted by a volunteer who had just arrived at the station that very day from Taichung.
它是救灾的时候有人把它送过来的，但它没有主人。它跟我养的狗狗其实都蛮像，年纪也蛮像。
想把它加入你们就是家庭的原因是什么？
没有特别的原因，就是觉得多一份碗也没有什么关系。
So far, this animal medical station has rescued more than 120 animals, including dogs, cats, ducks, and turtles, since it opened its doors. Volunteers say their goal is simple: to save as many lives as possible and to ensure that no survivor, whether human or animal, is left behind. Devin Tsai, Joseph Wu, Alec McDonald, and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has become a thriving center for the export of orchid flowers. John Van Triest takes a look at the country's orchid industry and how it got so big.
Taiwan is one of the world's leading exporters of orchid flowers. In greenhouses like this one, flowers destined for markets around the world grow under careful heat, humidity, and lighting conditions. When ready, these flowers are snipped off, packaged, and readied for shipment. For the last 2 to 3 decades, Taiwan has invested heavily in seed sources, tissue culture, and production technologies. In 2023, orchid exports brought in close to $200 million. One reason these flowers sell so well is that they're hardy.
切花就是把这丛的花夹掉了，伊就是顶管安尼尔，伊无摘啊出去，伊纯粹就是这支花出口安尼尔。乌蝶兰的切花，伊唔是单咱买倒来插哩，伊种内底有伊的寿命足长了。另外一个就是伊的运输，伊嘛当忍耐一个足长的时间。所以咱这乌蝶兰的切花嘛是咱台湾离乌蝶这个部分的明日之星。
Around 80 countries buy these flowers, but along with Japan, it is the United States that's become the chief market and the chief reason for the industry's rise. Before 2008, the U.S. market was tough to crack due to strict biosecurity rules.
进前要去销去美国，足麻烦的。你就爱把兰花种伫迄落水草内底，你把水草摕掉，爱在吹好干，各方面的爱2-3天，才可以来用控温送去美国。 咱若我都直接榨水草，加迄盆啊，送去美国，你足方便的。
But 2004 was the year that restrictions changed. Taiwan became the only country permitted to send moss and pots to the U.S. along with the flowers. It's certainly still not easy to sell abroad. Greenhouses must still be up to strict U.S. standards. And shipments have to be totally free of bugs, ferns, or other foreign materials. Still, the easing of rules in 2004 saw orchid exports to the U.S. jump 5-fold in the decade that followed. One reason for Taiwanese orchid success is technical and painstaking. Breeders clone the best flowers. In some cases, they can squeeze about 800 to 1,000 identical copies of the exact flower customers want, about as far as you can go without getting mutations that customers do not want. As growers will tell you, it all requires a lot of patience.
组织培养要3-4年，所以我们的时间很长啊。要大量生产的时候要3年到4年，所以一棵花它能够到市场的话，至少要经过7年的历练。
Taiwan's orchids do have competition. Growers are impressed with Dutch products, and China's orchid industry, while still some years behind Taiwan, is also catching up. There's also the issue of U.S. tariffs and what they'll mean for the industry. But growers in Taiwan have grown used to working with the government and research institutions, and they're confident that with enough support, Taiwan will remain the orchid kingdom. Patrick Chen and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images from Germany's Essen Light Festival, marking its 10th anniversary with dazzling installations under the theme Imagine Peace. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.